and thrust us out of Egypt speedily. Right? Thrust us out. We didn't linger. We didn't hang out. We didn't, stroll out of Egypt. We got up out of there. Right? If it wasn't a power walk, it was a run. Right? We got up out of Israel. We got up out of Egypt at that time. In so much that it caused us to eat in haste the Passover, in so much as it caused us to eat the unleavened bread the days thereafter. For there was no time to leaven the bread. For the Most High said, when the time is now, and he calls, and that shout goes out. And the Most High says now, now means now. How you say now in Hebrew? Aitha. All right? Aitha. So we left out of Egypt, Aitha. Right? It was a sense of urgency. And there's going to be a sense of urgency when we leave this captivity. But until that day, there should be a sense of urgency to leave this captivity in your mind, in your spirit, in your works. Right? As you see this kingdom crumbling, we should be jumping ship. Right? When they say abandon ship, that don't mean the ship already sunk. That means it's going down. You can't wait for the ship to sink and then want to abandon ship. You're already in the water. Right? You got to get off the ship as it's going down. So a lot of our people need to get this knowledge. They need to hear this cry. They need to hear this shout so that they understand that it's time, if you have not already done it, to repent and come back to the Most High quickly. Right? Quickly. Don't wait. Don't linger. Because the time of the Most High is a dreadful day. All right? So we're going to get some scriptures on the historically, what was done for us, what's being done for us now, and what shall be done for us in the future. So first let's start out with Colossians 3, verse 17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
So let's get Exodus 13, verse 1. Exodus 13, verse 1. Matter of fact, go right to 13 and 3. Let's right to the point. Exodus 13, verse 3.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day,
right,
in which ye came out from Egypt,
right,
out of the house of bondage. For by strength
by what?
For by strength.
For by strength of the Most High, come on.
Of the hand of the Most High.
Let's read.
Brought you out from this place.
Come on.
There shall no leavened bread be eaten.
There shall no leavened bread be eaten. So the reason why we eating this unleavened bread and we're not eating any leavened bread, because we recognize and we remember by strength of the Most High that he thrust us out of Egypt. Read on.
Verse 4. This day came ye out in the month of Abib.
Right, so in the month of Abib, what day of the month of Abib did we come out? What day of the month was it? The first day, second day, third day? What day of the month was it? What day? What day did we come out of Egypt? Hebrews, the 15th day. We left the 15th day. At the 14th day at even, we killed the Passover. That morning, we was out of there. When the sun rose, it was like, hit the road. All right? So, the 15th day, we left out of Egypt, out of bondage, out of captivity, into the wilderness. Read on.
And it shall be, when the Most High shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites,
right,
and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee.
Right.
A land flowing with milk and honey.
Right.
that thou shalt keep this service in this month.
Right, we're going to keep this service when we're left out of Egypt. He said, when I give you the land, which you wasn't getting the land right away. How long did we take us to get the land of the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites? How long did it take us to get to that land? Who remember? How long? Say it louder. 40 years. So he's giving them a prophecy of 40 years ahead. He said, when you get in the land, you're going to remember this day. You're going to keep this feast. All right? On the same month, same time that you left out of Egypt. All right? 40 years in the future. All right? Read.
Verse 6. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread.
Right?
And in the 7th day.
And on what day?
And on the 7th day.
That's tonight. Tonight is the 7th day. When the sun goes down, when it went down, this began the 7th day. Read on.
Shall be a feast to the Most High.
Shall be a feast to the Most High. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're doing a feast to the Most High. Read on.
Unleavened bread, it shall be eaten 7 days.
Right, so that tonight, we cannot eat leaven tonight. Everybody understands that? When can we start eating leaven? Tomorrow sundown. Okay? We cannot, tomorrow sundown, we can start eating leaven when the next day begins. But for this 7th day, we have to eat unleavened bread still. So you got unleavened cakes, or you got matzahs, keep it coming. All right? Until it ends sundown tomorrow. All right? Let's read.
Verse 7. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days.
Right.
And there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee.
Right. So don't start buying leavened bread and stacking it in the cupboard for tomorrow. Wait until the day expires. Everybody understand that? Because no leaven is supposed to be seen with you until you have completed the 7 days. Okay? So you have one more day. Then you can get back to your buns and your what do you call that? The bulla, whatever you're eating over there. All right? You get back to your tasty cakes, whatever you was eating before the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You can get back to it tomorrow at sundown. But until then, we're still unleavened. All right? So we want to make that clear. I don't want nobody to falter because they didn't get good instruction. Okay? So we're still in the leavened bread until tomorrow sundown. All right? Let's read.
Neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters.
Neither shall there be leaven seen in all thy quarters. So you can't stack it in your cupboard waiting for tomorrow. Right? You have to wait till tomorrow sundown to even purchase leavened bread. Does everybody understand that? All right, so it's not just not eating it. You're not supposed to be in your quarters. What's your quarters? Your household. Your gate. Right, where you live. All right, read.
Verse 8. And thou shalt show thy son in that day.
Right, so you're going to show thy son. Now it talks in masculine terms, but it's talking about your sons and your daughters, your children. You're going to show them something. Read on.
Saying.
What are you going to say?
This is done because of that which the Most High did unto me.
Why are we not eating bread? Why we can't eat no buns? Why I can't have no cereal? You're going to tell them this is done because of what the Most High did for us. How he brought us out of the land of Egypt. So we have to teach our children. Everybody understand that? We can't depend on Esau or the system to teach our children who they are, their own history. That's too beneficial for them. They're not going to teach them that. That truth frees them. And they don't want them to be free. They want it to be occupied. They want them to be to serve the nation, to continue on, being what they call it, a productive person in society. That's the way they say it, a.k.a. slaving, all right? And building their kingdom up. Who got a precept? You say you got a precept? Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 6. That the generation to come might know them, even the children which shall be born, who shall arise and declare them to their children.
We should arise and declare these things to our children. We must teach our children of Yahweh, right? We must guide them in the ways of serving the Heavenly Father. This world will not hesitate from teaching your child the wrong things, so we cannot hesitate from teaching them the right things. Everybody understand that? Right? Because it's on us. Because sometimes your children are going to do things, and what are you going to say? Dad, where you get that from? Where did you learn that? Right? Well, they need to be busy learning from you, so they don't learn that thing. Right? That they don't be coerced to do that thing. All right? Give me Proverbs 6:20. Is it my son? Yeah.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 20. My son, keep thy father's commandment.
Right? Keep that what?
Keep thy father's commandment.
And now the children in here, if your parents teach you something, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to follow it. Okay? Your parents take the time to teach you and educate you on something, and you want to hear the teacher. You think the teacher's smarter than your parent. Right? Oh, the teacher didn't tell me that. Well, maybe the teacher is, they're telling you what they're told to tell you. What your parents, he putting you up on the real. Right? What your parents teach you is what you really need to know. Everybody understand that? So as children, it says, keep the commandment of your father. Your father, they're talking about the Heavenly Father. It's talking about your actual father. All right? Read on.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
And don't forsake the law of thy mother. What your mother told you, don't forsake it. This is applied when we come in this truth, man. Because your parents, those of you that are second generation Israelites, your parents are Israelites, and they trying to teach you, bring you up in a way, and you want to know what they doing at school, what your teacher said, what your neighbor said, what your auntie said. You better listen to your parents. Your parents in this word. They know. The Father's enlightening them, and they're enlightening you. So as children, we must obey our parents, right? Because a lot of times we talk about the parent teaching the child, but we got to show the children that you must listen to your parents. All right? Don't think your parents they don't know what they're talking about. McCoy. That's right. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 11:19. Very important we understand this. Especially our young ones in the room. Your parents' word is law and commandment. All right? We'll finish there. We'll get this 11:19 and go back to Proverbs.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 19. And ye shall teach them your children,
right?
Speaking of them, when thou sittest in thine house,
right?
And when thou walkest by the way.
So when you're in the house, we should be teaching our children. Read on.
When thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt write them upon the doorpost of thine house.
Right, you should have them on the walls of your house. Right, they should be walking around looking at laws and instruction and commandment. You can buy these anywhere, online. You can get whatever verse you want, frame it up. If you think it's important, you think they need to know this, frame it up, put it on your wall. Read on.
And upon thy gates. That your days may be multiplied.
That your days may be what?
Multiplied.
And this is going to give you a longer life. This was going to give you a longer life. Read on.
And the days of your children in the land.
And your children are going to have longer lives. So you blessing yourself. Everybody wants their child to prosper and do well, huh? You bring children in this world, you want them to do well. Well, you got to make sure we're doing what we need to do to make sure they do well. And what we need to do is teach them this word. They need to know this word. They got to have these precepts. They can't just sit up in the class and say, okay, I'm going to church with my parents, and then looking at the ceiling, looking at the floor. You got to make sure they're learning this thing. Everybody understand that? When you go later, quiz them. What was service about? What scripture came out? Where's that verse at? So that they know that unless you test them, they won't know what they know and don't know. That's what the test is for. The test is to let you know what you know and what you need to know. Okay. Go back to Proverbs. Is that it on that? Yeah, go back to Proverbs. And use that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
My son, keep thy father's commandment,
Uh-huh.
and forsake not the law of thy mother.
Read on.
Bind them continually upon thine heart,
Right?
and tie them about thy neck.
Right, so bind them in your heart. That means in your brain. And tie them around your neck. What your parents told you. Right? Keep a constant remembrance of that. Especially if your parents is in this word. Okay? Because your parents is in this word, they know the Father, and they trying to put you up on game, you better pay attention. Because if you don't, you're going to suffer unnecessarily. Okay? Let's read.
When thou goest, it shall lead thee.
Right?
When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee.
Come on.
And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee.
Right, so if you remember these things, it's going to counsel you in the time to come. When you go to bed, you're going to dream about it. You're going to wake up, it's going to be right there. When you're going to make a decision, you're going to remember the words that your parents told you. Abba did tell me that. He did tell me that was going to go down that way. He did put that knowledge in my mind. Right, so when we rebellious, we can't say, oh, well, maybe their parents didn't teach them. Sometimes the children just don't want to hear the parents. All right, let's read.
Verse 23.
Uh-huh.
For the commandment is a lamp,
Right?
and the law is light,
Come on.
and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Right, so he's going to bring you to the light. Reproof and instructions are the way of life. So if your parents bring you up in this knowledge, you take heed to what they tell you. Read on. Where it says to keep the commandments. Okay. Now give me Proverbs 22 and 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he shall go,
Right? Come on.
and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right, so you got to train your children up. Train them to keep these laws. Train them to know the Most High. Train them to call on His name. When they're in trouble, tell them to pray. When they stressed out, tell them to turn to Yahweh. Call on His name. You got to train them because if they're not used to doing that, their friends ain't doing that. They're not seeing that on Instagram and what is it on Facebook, Twitter? I don't know. Everything is a gram, right? IG all day. Snapchat, right? They ain't gonna see that in Snapchat. Their friends ain't snapping praying. They snapping their hairstyle and their eyelashes and the kissy faces in the mirror. That's what they Snapchatting. They ain't Snapchatting these scriptures, right? Facing Jerusalem, praying for the Most High, praying to the Most High. That's what needs to be on the Snapchat. Okay, read on.
When he is old,
Uh-huh.
he will not depart from it.
Right, come on.
The rich ruleth over the poor.
That's it on that. Jump down to the 15th verse.
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Foolishness
Uh-huh.
is bound in the heart of a child.
Say it, read it again.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
Read it one more time.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a
So
child.
if you don't put something in their mind, what's going to be in their mind? Oh, it's clear. Wow, they got that. I don't have to break that one down. I got that one. So if you don't put something in your child's mind, there's going to be foolishness up there. And who you going to blame? You got to blame yourself. As parents, we got to make sure we force some good instruction into their head. Their head will be totally consumed with foolishness. All right, read on.
But the rod of correction.
But the what?
But the rod of correction.
What that is? Yeah, it is. That's a heavy rod of correction, boy. I'll be in trouble with my parent. Right? But I've all felt the rod of correction. The rod of correction breaks stubbornness. It breaks willfulness. It breaks the inability to hear or the inability to receive the instruction. That's when the rod of correction got to come out. Because evidently you're not hearing me. So you have to feel me. Right? And then you will hear me. Right? It's a part. This is a part of it, and it's necessary. Right? Esau, Most I use Esau as a rod of correction for our people.
That's right.
He beat us over the head with this so-called white man till we're mush, till we sore, right? Till we don't want no beatings no more,
And we say, we all get along.
right? We don't want to agree with the beater. We want to what? We want to turn back to the Father and say, listen, I'm going to keep your instruction, man. I don't want it no more. I don't want no more spankings. I don't want no more Esau. I've had it. Right? I get it. I hear you. Right? Your child says, okay, I got it. Right? Then you give them a couple more to make sure they got it. Just to seal it. Right? What you got?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that has a man chastened his son,
Mm-hmm.
so the Most High thy power chasteneth thee.
That's it. Just the same way the Most High chastens us, like a man chastens his son. All right? You can't be light on your sons, man. You can't be light on your sons. You might be a little light on your daughter. You shouldn't be, so. The scriptures say don't sit lightly next to them. Right? But on your son, you got to be extra. Because as men and young men, we are extra hard-headed. Right? There's an extra layer of hardness on our brain. Right? It is what it is. Everybody got sons knows this. There's an extra layer of hardness that you have to break through.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all will give us the way.
It's thick. It's real thick.
That's it.
It's thick.
Like a granite countertop.
Yeah. Like an
we know. It's like vibranium. Some new metal, right? Let's go back to Proverbs 21. 21:15.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 15.
22:15. It's like.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
Right. It's going to take away that foolishness out of their heart, right? So they can hear and receive instruction. That's what the Most High did to us. You know what I mean? He tried to take the foolishness out of us because he's our Father and he loves us. And when a father loves his son, he chastises his son. Okay? When a father loves his son and he favors him, he's going to make sure he does right. Let me get Revelations, the 3rd chapter. Let's get Revelations, the 3rd chapter. Start with the 9th verse. Revelations 3, verse 9. So we have to look to our Father in heaven as he's our actual Father. Right? And we are his hard-headed children. Right? What you got? We may go there. I get where you're going with it. Let's see what Revelation. We're going to be in Revelations for a minute. Revelations 3, verse 9.
That's right.
The book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
Slaki. That's what that is?
Yeah. 319.
319. Slaki. 319. That's not
I
right.
thought you was going there because of the...
You thought I was going in already? Not yet.
Because of the hole, they sprayed the holes on.
I seen that video.
You seen that when they sprayed the holes? They had a funeral. The Amalek had everybody come out there in their black suits. And police came out there with a fire truck and sprayed the water hose all up in the body.
On the Amalek?
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I didn't see